Welcome back to Spamalot in the West End. It is always nice to see someone who is glamorous and starry and incredibly talented. Bonnie Langford, how are you?
I was going to say Joe Pasquale. He's very starry. He's got his dark shades on today. Indoors.
What's interesting about you is you keep going year after year after year. And I was saying this to somebody earlier. I don't think there's anybody more tenacious and talented in show business who just keeps at it. Most people either give up, can't find work, run out of work, get sacked, get unpopular. You have been consistent, haven't you? It's remarkable.
I'm just lucky.
No, I don't think you are.
They haven't found me out yet. As you say, I'm tenacious. I'm just a crab. I'm a cancer. So I'm a crab. I'm tenacious. I just grab with my little claws and I don't give up.
But you know it doesn't work like that. Your luck runs out eventually in this business, doesn't it, if you're a faker?
Well, I hope not, because I have to pay my mortgage. But yeah, I guess so. I hope so. You'd like to think so, wouldn't you? That if people actually work hard, they do get the benefits, but it doesn't always work out that way. And, you know, it's a tricky business. It's a really weird job to do. But if you really love it, you can't do anything else.
What's amazing about you is your voice. You are so tiny and beautiful and little, but your voice ain't. I mean, it's so powerful and big. And this show needs that because you're playing the Lady of the Lake, which is probably one of the greatest roles ever in the West End. And you get songs like the song that goes like this and Whatever Happened to My Part. And these are really fabulous songs to sing, aren't they?
They're fabulous songs to sing because I love them because they're beautifully written as songs, but also they're taking out the Mickey out of the songs that they're trying to be. So yes, this, if you think about it, to write a song that's called The Song That Goes Like This is the song that goes like this. Yes, in every single show there is a song that goes like that, and whatever lyrics or whatever you think, oh, here we go, this is your 11 o'clock number, or this is your ballad, or this is your power, but whatever, you know. And I just love the fact that I get the chance to sing that with the lovely John Robbins, and also what they call Diva's Lament, Whatever Happened to My Part. I love doing that because people think, oh no, she's gone off on one, she's lost it, she's, you know, what on earth's going on here? There's that moment of silence before the song begins, where they're thinking, this is a bit different, it's in front of the curtain and something's gone wrong. And then of course I'd come out with this Whatever Happened to My Part, because it is the archetypal diva strop, basically. And you know, there is something funny. Somebody said to me that there's a story about Dame Edna, who was doing a whole day of press talking about his show, her show, all the time, whatever you like to say, and all day long, doing interview after interview after interview, and then went on stage that night in front of 2,500 people and went, oh, at last I'm alone. And it's true, there is that feeling that when you're on stage, you can actually share your thoughts almost in a therapeutic fashion with your audience. And that's what the diva is doing at that time. She actually is confiding in the audience as if they are her friends and the people backstage are treating her so badly. And I just think it's so perfectly put, and I enjoy that a lot.
And it comes from nowhere. I mean, the great thing about that song is it's so big, it crescendos into this massive rant. But I wonder what you're thinking about before you come on and do it, because you haven't got a build-up to it, have you? It comes from nowhere.
Yeah. Actually, I stand in the wings and I watch Star Song, because we have a song in the show that is, you won't succeed in the West End if you don't have any stars. And so what's so brilliant about that song is that various stars appear, as in Ozzy Osbourne, Boris Johnson, Susan Boyle, and it's just mad. It's absolutely mad. There are people appearing from everywhere and being thrown off the stage, and it's just very silly. And I love watching that song because it gets me into the feel of the whole show again. Because it's funny, playing Lady of the Lake, I sort of pop on and do amazing big pieces of music or drama and then just disappear again. And so I have quite a few breaks, and sometimes that's difficult to feel that you're still part of the company. So I spend a lot of time in the wings chatting to people and just trying to get the feel, you know, still get that rhythm, keep the rhythm of the show. And Star Song I do watch, and then Concord and Sir Lancelot come on after that, and I watch that and then I just walk on. And it I don't know, I just keep in the rhythm of the show. I think that's how I managed to sort of start with that theme. And I just imagine that I'm standing in my dressing room having a diva fit and just take it onto the stage. But the whole show is like that. I mean, the show is full of such talented people, and it's hilarious, and it's always enjoyable to stand in the wings and listen to the laughter from the audience. You don't always hear it when you're on stage, but when you're in the wings you do, especially when someone has a really funny laugh that makes everyone else laugh, and that in itself is infectious. So our job is done.
And again, this show is just filled with nonsense. Don't come here expecting some Brecht or Harold Pinter. I mean, this is a show of utter nonsense. And if you come and leave your brain at the door and just have a good old couple of hours of fun, you're going to have the best time ever. I mean, seriously, I don't think there certainly isn't right now another show in the West End like it at all.
I don't think so. And what I love about it is that many people come to the show not knowing what to expect, and they think, oh, are we supposed to know all sorts of things about Python? Of which a lot of people do, and they love it too, which of course is important. But secondly, it's just about enjoying having a laugh, and for those people who love musical theatre, they can, on top of that, enjoy the fact that we are doing parodies of different shows. So I always say, a couple of weeks ago we were doing West End Live, and I said, well, you can watch all the different shows at West End Live, and then you come to Spamalot and you see us take the mickey out of them all. Because it's clever, it's really well written. I mean, you know, how many actors say, oh, it's all in the text, darling. But it actually is. If you've got the work there to do, then all you have to do is just say it, and it does the job for you. And it's very infectious. I defy anyone who can come into this show and not go out feeling better than when they came in. It's just a feel-good show. You don't have to bring any kind of sort of geography degree or anything. Just come and have a laugh and enjoy it. My daughter, who is now 12, has been loving this show since she was 10. She absolutely loves it. My 82-year-old mother loves it, and everybody in between. And it's a joy to do.
And I was telling Joe earlier, I don't like Monty Python. I don't really get Monty Python. I've never understood it, but this is truly one of my favourite shows ever. It's a different type of writing with the same kind of gags, if you know what I mean. You don't have to have a Monty sense of humour to come and get this show.
Not at all. I mean, as soon as you see three monks walking across the stage, banging themselves with giant Bibles, I think you have to sort of understand that we're going a little bit left of centre. And I had this whole conversation with someone the other day on Twitter about this thing where we call fetchez la vache, where the French taunters go fetchez la vache, and they do mean go and fetch the cow. But apparently it's actually, in French, it's fetchez something or other, which means another thing. And I think actually the Pythons probably knew that. And it was called, and I put on Twitter, I said, it's called a play on words. Ha ha. But that actually, I think, the reason I remember watching Python when I was a kid, and I loved all the cartoon elements in between, and I think I loved I'm a Lumberjack and all that rubbish. It did seem rather madcap. It was a little bit university graduate, and there were times when I was young thinking, what's all this about? They're just being daft. I think now in Spamalot it's certainly found its place because it's clever, but it also has that diversity of just being silly and fun and musical. And in this time of our lives, I think we all need a bit of a laugh. And that seems to be working really well, you know. And Joe coming into the show is just an absolute delight because he's got funny bones and he gets it and he loves the show. Most people who come and do this show don't want to leave. And I know Joe doesn't want to leave, but he's just here for a limited time, which is a shame. But at least he's here for a bit.
How do you still have fun all these years later? I mean, I was reading your CV earlier. We're not going to get to any of it because we're just having a chat. But I mean, you've literally done everything. You've worked with everyone. And you still come with enthusiasm and passion, don't you? How do you keep it fresh in your own head?
I'm lucky with Spamalot. It's one of those special shows that really I do enjoy coming to work. I really do. I don't always enjoy going to work. That's when it becomes a job, you know. I think when you do, a lot of people think, oh, showbiz, it's all fun and la la la. No, it isn't. But it's about trying to make that fun and to make it look as if you're having fun even when you might not be feeling it at the time. Spamalot is an exception to the rule. It is fun. It is enjoyable. Yes, for me, it's a big sing, which is a little bit of an extra pressure. But when that's all going fine, it's an easy job. It's a joy to do. There are not, you know, these jobs don't come along all the time, but you make the best of it. And the important part is that you try and find the joy in whatever you're doing. And you've got to make it work. You've just got to make it work. And I think we're all eternal optimists. Anyone who's in this business is always hoping that the phone will ring and it'll be that fab job that you really do love doing and that ticks all the boxes, or at least most of them. And the rest of the time, you've just got to keep your spirits up.
And again, when we look at your family, I've interviewed your nieces, the Strallan sisters, so many times in various shows. Again, no point even mentioning them all because they've done virtually everything. There is an ethic about you and your family, isn't there? You are workers, and this business is about putting the hours in to take them out.
I think so. You've got to have the natural ability. Absolutely. I think people have to have the natural ability, and they have to have that natural determination and love for the job, because it's not a very nice job sometimes. It can treat you really badly. And not in stuff, in a kind of a very personal way. It can be very personal, and that can be quite hard to remain resilient to that, but not then become this hideous tough cookie that has absolutely no humility whatsoever. So finding that balance is difficult. But one of the main things you've got to be able to do is to sustain and just to stick it out and stay with it. And yes, the family, I suppose we were all steeped in that learning how to learn and to keep learning. Never ever feel that you know everything. Never feel that you're some kind of big cheese, because you're not. There's always somebody else that knows something else, and you're always constantly learning about yourself and other people around. Even if it's going through something that's really hateful, you've learnt somehow. And in the grand scheme of things, you know, we're all extremely fortunate to be able to do what we do and to live the life that we do.
My mantra is, no matter how good you think you are, there's always an accountant somewhere who can find someone cheaper, isn't there?
Absolutely. And I wish, you sometimes go, oh gosh, I really wish, I could have been a lawyer or an accountant. But I look at figures and if you look in a cartoon and you see the eyes, they glaze, they absolutely glaze. And I think, oh no. And you know what? I'll do what I do, and they can do what they do, and hopefully we're both good at our own jobs. Right. And thankfully, the accountancy and any other kind of business has worked out. Well, somebody said to me the other day, how do you keep doing what you do? And I'm like, well, I can't do anything else, so I actually have to, because I really can't do anything else, so I'm stuck.
Do you also have that thing where you wonder whether some people, I just spent 2 years at the BBC full time, and I wonder whether I'm over the top or people are incredibly dull. I'm trying to work out which way it is.
I think they're incredibly dull. I think you've got to be nuts to do this. I'm certainly quite nuts.
God bless you. Thank you for still being here. I saw you just doing this dance thing a couple of years ago in Nottingham, and you're touring and you're doing all kinds of things. The Dancing on Ice thing you were doing.
Dancing on Ice, yes. Oh, well, see, you know more about me than I do.
Well, I was there. You were there.
I was there, yes. I was there. Oh, my goodness. Was it the second tour?
I can't remember which one it was, but you were there, definitely. Unless I've confused you with somebody else.
No, I kept cracking my ribs, and I was in such agony. I did the whole thing drugged up. Didn't really remember any of it. So you see, that's why. I was up.
Was it more fun, though, when you were else?
Well, it was fun while I was on the drugs, but when they wore off, it wasn't fun at all. And I'm still paying the price. Look at the crazy things we've all done in our lives. And I think if you've got a life, you've got to live it, haven't you?
You're doing so well in this show. I'm seeing it again tonight. I can't wait to see you again with Joe. And I'm told the chemistry is just brilliant between the two of you. And you can tell when people genuinely like each other, can't you?
I think you can tell when people genuinely like each other. I think you can sometimes tell when they don't too, which is a bit awful. You have to try not to. But yeah, I've seen some things. I saw a show a couple of years ago and I thought, oh, they don't get on. Oop-de-doo. Yeah. And that's really hard. But Joe and I are just absolute soulmates. We get on so well. And it's just extraordinary how this came about. Absolutely extraordinary. And I'm a great believer in fate. And fate made this happen. And I'm so grateful.
Well, and it's down to you. He came to see the show and you kindly tweeted something and said something public, and the next thing he gets the gig.
Well, it was before that. Before he came to see the show, we tweeted. And that's why he came to see the show. I just said, he tweeted me and said, what are you up to? And I said, well, I'm doing Spamalot. Come and be King Arthur. Why that even came out of my head, I don't even know. I just sort of went, oh, you'd be great. And then he came to see the show the next day. Literally, like, oh yeah, I'll come and see that. So he came to see the show the next day, was so completely adorable. And then basically it went over to the producers who said, you know what, that would be a lovely idea. And I'm so pleased they made it happen, because we're just having a blast. And he's just adorable. He stands in the wings watching everybody else and enjoying it, which is such a great tonic, because we're all as vulnerable and scared and sensitive and stupid as each other. We all kind of think, oh, can't do it. So to have another artist standing there, obviously appreciating what you do as well, is just brilliant. The energy in the company is just brilliant at the moment, and that's so much down to Joe.